My name's Yudo Udeshi. I am 54, just a couple of weeks ago. Condition, I had two serious back operations.
My name's Dion Sarah Weston Game. I'm 25 years old and I suffer with fibromyalgia.
My name is Anne Porter. I'm 67 years old. I'll be 68 in May. I have spondyloarthritis of the hips, which both have been replaced, but I do have spondyloarthritis in the spine, which they can't do anything very much about.
I was born in East Africa. My grandparents, that's my dad's mum and dad, they were originally born in India, and from there they decided to start a new life in East Africa. They came inland to Uganda. That's where my father was born, with his three sisters and one brother. And then from there, he then got married and so on and so forth. That my mum got married, and then we were born. There's five of us, five children on the baby. And then in 1971, we were expelled from there. All Ugandan Asians were asked to leave the country, who had British passports, because Uganda was a British colony before independence. And so we ended up in the United Kingdom. Yeah, no, it was difficult to adopt them when you're young as well. You don't really know what's happened as such, and how lucky, we found out much later how lucky we were, because lots of my dad's friends were killed, and so on and so forth. So very fortunate.
I was born in Watford. I was then fostered in Borehamwood for the first year and a half of my life, and then I was moved to Letchworth, where I was brought up by my parents. My biological mother was she was quite young. She already had kids, and she just wanted a better life for me. As that's what I gather from the information I was told, which is a good thing, because I found my parents and they're my parents now, so it's all good.
I always wanted to be a teacher, right from being probably 7 or 8 years old. I used to go and help in the classes. I was always much bigger than everybody else. I used to go and help with the others. I always got on well with small children. So I always wanted to be a teacher. But having moved and been to probably 6, 7, 8 or 9 different schools, I was very tall for my age, and in those days people weren't tall. So when I was in the first form, I was as tall as the kids in the sixth form. I was teased quite a lot. So by the time I was 16, I just wanted to leave school and get a job. I live in Shefford, just outside Hitchin. I'm still working. I'm self-employed. I run my own accountancy business. So I do people's tax returns, VAT. I have a couple of limited companies.
I used to play badminton and teaching and so on and so forth, and it was just purely wear and tear. It was an accident, and so as if you were to look at me when that, you'd think, that's an accident. No, it was just purely wear and tear. L4, L5, which is the lumbar region, 2 discs, they were prolapse discs, and they were compressing on the nerve, which then pain down the leg, constantly, severe pain. Out of 10, I'd have to say it was 14, 15, and I couldn't face bright light. So soon after I'd woken up, I'd vomited, and then went into shutdown. So it was photosynthesis, so you couldn't face light, and huge headache, and that's all I remember after that. But something attacked the main brain of the spine, so whether it was infection or what, they're not sure. So once I came round and they could get the diagnosis of things, they found the antidote. So antibiotics were put in what they call a central service line. They're in trauma cases, put through the neck. Antibiotics, all pipes and needles everywhere, and gradually started to come around.
The symptoms started around 5 years ago. It took about 2 years to be diagnosed with it. So I was still at uni at the time, and I started feeling a lot of pain, a lot of fatigue. obviously I didn't know what my condition was, never heard of it before, so it wasn't something I was dreading. It wasn't something that I went to the doctor and said, yeah, I think I've got this. It was just can you help me? Didn't really work.
You have to learn then to deal with it, because you can't spend it in those days. Their answer was just go to bed. Well, you have 3 children under the age, that are sort of small. You can't really just go to bed. But I did go and see a doctor once when my disc had gone, and his answer was to go to bed, to go lay on the floor and eat an apple and orange a day, and that's it. Well, if you've ever slipped a disc, trying to get on the floor is not easy, and trying to get off the floor is even worse.
Going into this coma, and for almost 10 days, that was when we thought, we need to let family know that, possibly we could may not be here, and so that was the only time I think we really let them know what was happening, and obviously worrying for family members without a doubt. However, to this day, I am in complete debt to the staff at the hospital.
But on the whole, I think people tend to just look away, because at my age I shouldn't really have a walking stick. It's not really something you're used to seeing, so people tend to just ignore it, which I get. I'm fully comfortable with that, because I don't really want to talk to them about it anyway. It might be, in a sense, a positive reaction, where when I do have my crutches or my walking stick, people do try and help a bit more, but that is also negative, because I don't want people to then help me. I don't want people to look at me and think, oh, they're fragile, they're ill, they're sick, they need a bit of help.
When I met Mark, I think he found it the hardest, because he desperately wanted to help. And somebody even trying to help you out of bed, it doesn't work. You can't, because you know that you're going to move, and you know it's going to be a pain, and it's going to jump, and it's the strangest. At times you can feel it wobbling around, and it's pinging away, and you've just got to deal with things yourself. So I think he found that quite. But no, he's very good. All my family and my friends are very good and very supportive. But I find people are really nice when I've got a stick. People will get out of my way and be helpful. So we've been on endless sort of cruises and things, and we went up to Spitzberg, and we had to keep getting on those little tender boats, and that was a bit, oh God. But everyone was quite helpful to help me out of it. My biggest fear is I have fallen over a couple of times, and that is the worst, because how am I going to get up? Well, that's my real panic. The minute I'm down, it's, oh my God, how am I going to get up? That's the hardest.
You've had all this expertise on you. Don't waste your life. Yes, you've lost what you dearly love, but it's a new chapter. Sure. This is a new beginning. It's not an end. And I can remember I cried, and then I said to myself, pull yourself together here, because they said you can go swimming, you have to change your lifestyle, and you're the best person to do that.
The conditions really affected how I work. I entered a job that I absolutely loved, and I had to leave it, and this is really going to be really hard for me. I was a carer for 2 years, and it was the best job I ever had. It was very full on and absolutely exhausting and terrible on many levels, but I absolutely loved it. That I came home feeling I positively affected people's lives, and it wasn't just making sure they were well looked after, like they were clean, they were fed, but it was making them smile, it was making them laugh, it was encouraging their quality of life.
And I'm one of those, I get moaned at by my daughters. I am allowed to rest, I am allowed to stop, I am allowed to, because I'm constantly, always got a plan, always got something on the go, always got far more in my head that I'm going to do today than there's possibly physically time to do. But that's just the way that I've always been.